Welcome back to the Namaste experience. I am here in Puerto Vallarta for a few days, but so happy to be able to join with all of you as we do every day. We join together in a frequency of love, the frequency of now. We could use a number of words to describe that. We'll stick with love for now. In fact, that is going to be the essence of everything that we share this week during our discussion on the 5 mystical truths. We had our first mystical truth yesterday, all about knowing what you know, not believing what you know or knowing what you believe, or there is like a puzzle piece that comes together. I know what I know with a capital K. It's unshakable. It's undeniable. I don't have any need to try to prove or to demonstrate because I know it to be true. If I know that someone loves me, they don't have to prove it to me. They don't have to show me how much they love me. I know it at the deepest core of my being. If we have children, grandchildren, a partner, maybe we feel that with them. And this is even higher and greater and broader. This is a knowing that encompasses the entire universe. And that's what we're going to be talking about today and all week, the mystical truths of the experience of that love. And so right before we started here, I was thinking about this, and there were 2 thoughts that came into my mind. The first was, the love I feel depends on blank. Once again, the love I feel depends on blank. This is the ego's or the split mind's perception of love. It depends on something. It depends upon whatever it is we believe it depends upon. The love I feel. It depends upon this person liking me, this person wanting to be near me, this, whatever it is, it's outside. Something is or is not happening out here, and my love depends upon that. Okay, but the soul's version is very different. My love extends from who I am. My love extends from the truth, with a capital T, the truth of who I am. And this depends upon nothing else. And this is the difference. To the ego, love depends. From the soul, love extends. Love is always giving itself away. Love is always extending into whoever's right there. Everything that is right there doesn't even matter. Nothing matters but the extension of that love. So that's what we're going to focus on today, but we're going to begin with our morning prayer for the awakened. And I want to say a little something about that before we begin. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you don't usually get to see this because we usually don't record this part, but every day at the beginning of our session, we do have a little prayer that we're going to share in just a moment. But it's important that a prayer like this not become rote. You know, being raised Catholic and being a priest, it's easy to see how liturgies and prayers can just be words. We just say them. But when we realize these are not just words, this is an active state of remembrance, an active state of extension of that love we just talked about. And when we say these words and really feel them, that's always the key, not to think, but to feel the impact of these words. It changes our lives and then changes the world. So I'm going to invite you to recite this prayer with me, but to do it in a way that's maybe a little bit deeper than we usually do. Just take it in, breathe it in, and realize this is the truth of you. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up on full screen here. One moment. So as I say here every day, please join me with energy and enthusiasm. My soul has but one goal: to awaken to the truth that is forever true. My heart has but one desire: to remember the passion of infinite bliss. My mind has but one focus: to embrace the reality that is forever real. I choose to awaken now to the infinite love that is my source. I give everything to this love, just as it has given everything to me. I am awake now. Say those last words with me one more time, nice and loud. I am awake now. Claim that. This is all we need to do, is to claim what is true. Hey, that rhymes. That's all we need to do, is claim what is true. It has always claimed you. It's claimed each and every single one of us before time began and never lets go. But we need to reclaim that which forever claims us. We need to claim that I am that. I am the extension of the love and the loveliness of God. I am the holy, perfect child of God, complete and healed and whole, shining in the reflection of God's love. In me is creation sanctified and guaranteed eternal life. In me is love perfected, not the little me, but the big me. The truth of who I am is love perfected, fear impossible, and joy established without opposite. Imagine that for a moment. Joy without opposite. And then to realize that I am the holy home of God. I am the heaven where God extends love forever into, through, as the truth of who I am. The truth of who I am now and forever will be. Amen. Wow, that's powerful, isn't it? We talk about these mystical truths, and it's all contained within that. Love extends the truth of who I am. That's all I need to really concern myself with, is to extend the truth of who I am now and forever. And then to love as God loves, to give it away. This is the other key. It's strengthened within me. Every time I give this same love away, it's like going to the gym and doing a push-up. It's like going to the gym and taking some weights. Every time it's like another curl. It strengthens you. It helps you to remain strong within this truth. If you never give it away, the strength that could be yours is not as vibrant as it could be. And this is what we're after: vibrancy, living this, the fire of this love, to stoke that fire like a bellow that constantly is breathing oxygen, so that those embers suddenly burst into an open fire. So this is why we are here. This is why we join here every day. If this is your first time, we're so glad you could be here. If it's your 150th time, we're so glad you keep coming back. In a little bit, we're going to have our dear Victoria come on, because she's always so good. And I'd love to have Calico come on today too. So let's make sure we leave some time for Calico. But I want to begin by sharing our mystical truth number 2. We had number 1 yesterday. I have number 3 tomorrow, but today we're going to focus on number 2. Here it is. I like the beginning. Truth is forever true. That's easy enough, isn't it? Truth is forever true. But consciousness or awareness of this truth is required before you perceive all its manifestations. Before you can perceive all the manifestations of the truth that is forever true, you need to align your consciousness with it. You need to align your consciousness with love. How do you do that? Well, we've talked about that already. Give it away, choose to see as God sees. One of the things that I've always recommended, and you can try this if you haven't, pretend you're enlightened. You know, pretending, using your imagination is a happy game that children play. Children love to pretend. They pretend that they're this or that. I see Vicki clapping. She knows this. Yes, it's a game that happy children play. And we are happy children. So let's play the game of imagining what's real, that you're already enlightened. So the question then becomes, how does an enlightened being act? What does an enlightened being do? How do they see the world or the people in the world? How do I see myself? Well, the first thing that I'll say about that is that an enlightened being simply does this. They see everyone else as whole and filled with light. They see everyone else in that way. And if you were to spend time every day pretending that you're enlightened, it has nothing to do with what you say. Don't say a word, actually. You're going to be much better off if you never say a word about it. Don't walk around saying, well, just give me some time. I'm pretending to be enlightened right now. No, just choose to see, choose to give it away. Choose to be as God in that moment, to see only the truth. And then that truth, that energy, that vibrancy will begin to build within you, to radiate from you. This is all you need to do. It's so simple. So maybe take some time today. See what that feels like to pretend to be enlightened. Let me start at the beginning again. I got not off track, but I got going. Truth is forever true, but the consciousness or the awareness of this truth is required before you can perceive all of its manifestations. Once again, this consciousness has little to do with the rational or the intellectual mind. I was going to write nothing to do, but I decided to put a little in there because some people do access things first through their intellect. This is jnana yoga, okay? And that's a beginning. It's not, you're not going to achieve the goal through your intellect, but it can be a jumping off point for certain people who are intellectually based. But in the end, it is always going to be about surrendering, trusting, being grateful. Okay. Once again, this consciousness has little to do with the rational or the intellectual mind, and everything to do with the mind with a capital M that transcends all the concepts you hold about reality. It has everything to do with that, transcending all of those concepts. Reality is not a concept. That's a good one. It is not a concept. It's not an idea. It's not a thought, but an unwavering, uncompromised experience. Unwavering and uncompromised. It is unwavering because it does not change. Reality, truth does not change. And the ego says, oh, isn't that boring? It doesn't change. That's how it tries to trick you by convincing you that reality is boring. It's not, because it's a vibrant reality. It is an active reality. It may not change in its essence, but it still gives us everything we need in every moment. Okay, where was I? It is unwavering because it does not change, and it is uncompromised because it has no opposite. You see, in this world, we think of everything as opposing everything else, an opposite. The uncompromising truth that you're feeling, that you're allowing, has no opposite. It is what it is forever and remains as it is forever. Love itself. All right. When you know that you know, as we said yesterday, illusions fade, and you are left with an experience of love that the world will never comprehend. Once again, when you know what you know, illusions will fade on their own. When you realize, not believe, but when you see through your real eyes, the eyes of the soul, when you see that love is the only reality that exists, and it is uncompromised, it has no opposite, it is unwavering because it does not change. It is whole, complete right here and now, just as you are whole and complete right now. And all you need to do to realize that is to see it, to give it away, to love. Does that sound complicated? I don't think so. It may at the beginning because we become so accustomed to not. In heaven, there is no knot to untie. There's no knot and there's no knot. There's only I am. I am presence right here, right now. So Vicki, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you take it from there, and then we'll close it up with Calico today. Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning, Brother James. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. I'm on Cape Cod, and it's beautiful here. And I've been excited. Like, what are the 5 things James is going to come up with? Which one? Surrender, silence. I was going over it. So what I would say, this, and if you want to play it this way as a game, or you fall right into the direct experience of not just loving for no external reason, not just loving because they're your family or they're your friends or because they help you or this or that, but loving for no reason, no external reason, only that internal knowing, which is a state of only loving, where there's no opposite. When we move from here, from that knowing, whether you think you've experienced this or not, that's why this can be a happy game all of us can play. Move from inner knowing that love is all there is, and be that love. Let that love go. And especially where it's insulted or judged against, or there's some problem with it, love anyway. But I would say that we live that way with everything. We live without external reason for anything, just living from this internal knowing. Everything comes to us, where we need to go, what we need to do, what we need to say. Everything comes from here if we're willing to 100% live from here. And it's not hard to do. It becomes kind of natural because you don't want to live from the outside because it's not as much fun. It's as simple as that. It's just not so much fun. When we live from the inside out, it's an adventure, like discovering what are these 5 things going to be this week. It's an adventure that it's a map that from the inside takes us wherever we're meant to be, living for no external reason, loving for no external reason, being right where we are for no external reason, to see only the love that's all around, whether it's with our physical eyes or our spiritual eyes, knowing that's reality, living in that knowing, living in that kind of loving. It has no opposite. And when we come upon a little stumble in the road, so what? No big deal. Welcome it in. Look at it with those loving eyes that may perhaps say, well, I don't know what this is, but I will be shown. I don't know yet, but I will be shown. And it will fade out as a negative experience. I think it was St. Francis who said, oh, I can't wait to be insulted so that I can love anyway. Is that right, James? Right?
Oh, it's one of my favorites. Do you mind if I tell the story real quick?
Yes, go right ahead. Then give it to Calico. Go ahead.
It was his story of perfect joy. He's walking through the rain and mud with Brother Leo. And he's, Brother Leo, would you like me to tell you what perfect joy is? And he said, yes, Francis. Yeah, let me tell you what perfect joy is. And he goes through this whole thing and he keeps saying that is not perfect joy. That is, if I were to be exalted by all the kings of Europe and made a saint, that for me would not be perfect joy. He goes through a whole list of these things. Finally, Brother Leo gets exhausted with this and he says, Francis, you've been telling me what perfect joy is, and tell me what perfect joy is. And he says, if we were to show up right now at the door of our own friary, muddy and wet and disheveled, and we knocked on the door, and the one of the friars came and said, who are you? Get away from here, you terrible people. You're probably criminals. And we're thrown out. To me, Brother Leo, this is perfect joy. That's how weird Francis was. But there was a delight to his weirdness, because in other words, that's perfect joy if he can maintain what he knows in love. If he could continue to love that friar or whatever is happening, to love no matter what. That's a good story. Now, Vicki, real quick, before we turn to Calico, people are asking, what is this beautiful necklace pendant that you have on.
Oh my gosh. So, you know, my cousin Victoria, 91, passed. We had her memorial in Bangor, Maine over the weekend. And a woman that I do not know had these made up for my sisters and I, and a couple of other people. And it's a picture of Victoria. I don't know if you can see it
You can
with
see,
wings. Can you see it with wings on her?
yes.
And it was such a glorious celebration of recognizing someone's spirit had been fully awakened and alive and had wakened everyone else's spirit in this party that we had, real party. And this was the gift, the takeaway. So, and aren't we all like this? It's like we've all got angels trumpeting all around us saying, here comes the Holy One, here comes the Holy One.
Oh,
So I'm wearing this. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
oh, thank you, Vicki. Let's turn to our dear sister Calico now, who always has, the beautiful thing of different people sharing is that different angles, and Calico always comes at it from a unique angle. So take it away, Calico.
I really appreciated your story, James. Yeah, that's, everything gets turned upside down and inside out. So, at some point we all experience joy that way, because that is true joy. And, I was sitting here listening to both of you, and I was thinking, well, one of the guidances that's coming in that I've refused to listen to, but now I'm thinking, okay, yes, okay, was I want to do little tips, like minute sessions. I'm going to put it on YouTube, minute sessions on Calico's tips to awakening. And but they're going to be real quick ones, because I was one of those horrible intellectuals. I was a scientist. You can't get more intellectual than that. My life was based in cause and effect, and I had to completely obliterate cause and effect. So I had to do games, Vicki will love this. I had to do games with myself to kind of trick myself into thinking differently. And one of them I want to pass on to you right now. And this is a quick one, but it's amazing how deep it'll take you if you allow it. Never, and I say never, say, I'm sorry again. Okay, well, that seems simple enough, but I guarantee when it comes up and you want to say, I'm sorry to someone, it's going to put you into a headspace of what James was talking about. It's like, wait, why am I saying I'm sorry? I am sorry. No, I have nothing to be sorry for. I'm perfect. And it will break down this idea that we think we know who we are, because we don't. So here's tip number one is never say I'm sorry again. And if you say I'm sorry, you're not wrong, but I really want you to think about it. Why am I saying I'm sorry? What am I sorry for? And it will just really take you through a little head play of, cracking open this idea that we can never be wrong for anything. We're innocent. Innocent means we can't be wrong for anything. So anyway, that's tip number one. Hold on for tip number two, and you guys have a great day, and never say I'm sorry again. Thanks, honey.
I love it. Thank you, Calico. We're going to come back to you every day for a while for these little tips. They're fantastic. Yeah, and as you were speaking, it struck me that saying I'm sorry is the admission of guilt. And that's the issue. I did something wrong. I now need to seek your forgiveness. And as we know, there's a difference between forgiveness to heal and forgiveness to attack. In other words, I need you to attack me now because I'm guilty. And so it's like I'm asking for an attack. Or as Elton John says, sorry seems to be the hardest word. It is the hardest word. And it's not about not reflecting upon, the choices that we make, but to do so without guilt, because we're doing so knowing, and once again, knowing with a capital K, that I am whole, I am complete, I am perfect right here, right now. And so are you. So are you. So we don't have to guilt trip each other, forcing you to say, you said something to me yesterday and I want you to apologize. I mean, that is the biggest ego trip there ever had, because now I'm separate from you. Now one of us is guilty, one of us is innocent, one's rising above, all this nonsense. So I love what you said, Calico. Do you have any final words on that? Anything else coming to you?
No, there'll be more tomorrow. These are going to be quick tips. This is not, I don't want anything that people can make it mean something intellectual, because I can talk for a long time, and that's not the point. The point is we want quick tips to enlightenment.
I love it. So we'll have quick tips. We have our mystical, what did I call those? I can't even remember. The mystical truths. We've got 3 more of those coming during the week. I'm thinking that every week now we'll have a pattern of something. I already have in mind what I'd like to do next week, but this week we're gonna continue with these mystical truths, and I hope you're getting a lot out of it. And to all of this, these mystical truths, these short tips to enlightenment, we say together, Amen.
And
E punto. Period. We love you guys.
love you all.
Have an amazing day. See you tomorrow.